Already told you that I have an extension of concept from this picture. Now if you see the next one, I took this one slide intentionally because it gives me a better chance to depict the concept. So you know that sporophyte is a diploid stage of plant life cycle. And what do sporophytes have? Sporophytes have sporangium. Not entire sporophyte will produce spores. There will be a particular place. The structure which gives rise to spores is sporangium. And what do sporangium has? Sporangium has diploid spore mother cells. And what do diploid spore mother cells undergo? Which type of cell division? Meiosis. And what does that give? Haploid spores. And what do haploid spores develop into? Gametophyte, which is also haploid. Now gametophyte will produce gametes, zygote, and zygote develops into sporophyte. We know this. I have something fundamental about sexual reproduction in this flow chart only. Now the plants which will produce same type of spores are called as homosporous. So all bryophytes are homosporous. They are primitive. What will a haploid dominant generation will give diversity in spores? Homosporous. 90% of pteridophytes are homosporous. So we have certain exception in pteridophytes, that is Azolla, I am writing genera, Salvinia, Selaginella, Marsilia, Isoetes. These genera, which are 5 here, are heterosporous. This is evolution. Completely homosporous is evolving to become heterosporous. Whereas in heterosporous condition is seen in these 5 genera of pteridophytes, and all gymnosperms, all angiosperms are heterosporous. When it is heterosporous, what are the two types of spores produced? A small mini motile male spores, large less number stationary female spores. This is oogamous condition because the plants are already on land. Internal fertilization. Okay, so we call the small motile male spores as microspore because it is small spore. And large stationary female spores as megaspore. Now in gymnosperms and angiosperms, we also call the microspore as pollen grain. And megaspore as ovule. So not ovule exactly. In ovule we see embryo sac is the female megaspore. Okay, so you see the pollen grain is microspore. So the haploid spore is pollen grain here, and haploid spore is embryo sac in ovule. Naturally, what would have given to these two? Meiosis. So pollen grain mother cell is pollen mother cell at this stage. Then what is the structure? Since this is microspore, microsporangium, see how it is falling in place. You see anther, 4 microsporangia, they are also called as pollen sacs because pollen grains are produced by meiosis. And how do you define microsporogenesis? Production of pollen grain from pollen mother cell through meiosis in microsporangia is called as microsporogenesis. What are we speaking about? We are speaking about gamete production. And microsporangia, where is it present? On sporophyte. Similarly, embryo sac, megaspore mother cell, megaspore mother cell. It was pollen mother cell there. It is megaspore mother cell here. We use the word pollen there so that we will not confuse with micro, mega, MNC in both. And then what will be this? Megasporangium. So what is megasporangium? So where do we see microsporangia? In anther. And where do I see megasporangium? In ovule. Because embryo sac doesn't have an independent existence, I wrote ovule first. What is ovule structurally? Megasporangium. And where do I have megasporangium? On sporophyte. So how do you define megasporogenesis? Formation of embryo sac from megaspore mother cell through meiosis in megasporangium, that is ovule, is called as megasporogenesis. Now did you understand how the evolution made sporangium to microsporangium and megasporangium structurally? Clear? So you know all terms now. You know the sexual reproduction. Isn't it the same? But we have the terms evolved as per the heterosporous condition.